Hi Karen, yeah, what I would do here, I'm just going to put the notes down I have here on a piece of page. Okay, so image files, support files, media files. What I'd probably do is just create a new folder. You've probably done this already, called support files. Okay, something like this. Now, you can just manually move the JavaScript files, and put it this way, anything in the library, for Dreamweaver locally, you actually need the library folder, and the actual LBI files need to stay in the library folder, or it won't work. That's the way Dreamweaver works with library assets. However, you can move any assets or support files within here, aside from the LBI files, into any other folder you want. Okay, so first thing I would do is let's just create, we've got the support files folder. I'm going to go into the site, the JavaScript, and I'll move these two files down into support files, and it should update all the pages in the site, just like that. Yeah, you can put the files from the site folder anywhere you want. Actually, you can rename the site folder if you want to support files. That might be the easiest way to do it as well. Do it on the backup of the site. Right, the only folder that requires an actual name is the library folder, and that's because the assets that we use are actual Dreamweaver library assets, and they require to have a folder called library in order to update the pages. But the assets, such as images and JavaScript files and anything like that, that those library pages actually use, they can be located anywhere. So you could just move everything from within the library, aside from the LBI pages themselves, down into your support files folder that we just created down here. And then Dreamweaver should update them like you're seeing right here. And the only way to do that really is to go through each sort of folder and sort of drag everything. Take 10-15 minutes. Go through the folders in there and leave the library, the LBI pages, but you can move any CSS files and any thing like that. And one of the things you may notice when you're in there is we don't have files that use duplicate names. Like we don't have a file called styles.css for multiple components. They all have their own name, so that way if you ever do have to move them, they shouldn't conflict with other ones. So anyways, that's what I was suggesting, going to suggest right there is just move all your JavaScript files, or rename the site folder to support files. You should be able to do that. Or you can just create a new folder called support files and drag any files that you need in there. Library, guess what? Same with a library. I'm going to stop this update here because it's taken forever. For the library, so let's say we go into the shared folder here. These pages do not actually need to be published. Any library asset page itself doesn't need to be published. It's just a file that updates the code within your actual web pages down here. Okay, these files don't need to be in the server, right? So you don't have to publish a library folder, but you may have to publish some of the stuff within, right? Let's say the thumb loaders here. Let's see, we have images. Okay, you see how they're named clients 1, 2, and 3? Well, you may want to move these images into support files, right? So you may need to drag these down to your support files, right, and just update like so. That way you won't have to actually load or publish anything within, right? So you just have to go through the folders in here and move any pictures down into, you could actually just move the there's 10 different ways to do it. You may want to call it rename this folder, call it tab-images like so. Okay, and then move that folder down into support files as well. So a lot of different ways of doing it. It really depends on which pages, but you should be able to rename anything in here, or move files and folders from within the library down into support files or image files and things like that. So, but the image files, just an FYI, should all have their own names, so you shouldn't have any conflicts. So you could physically go into each of these folders and move them into an images file folder, like I've created support files, move all your images into that image files folder, and you shouldn't have any images that are named the same. And if you do, well, just if you run into that, just, well, rename the images, I guess.